Welcome to the Two Boots Word Vault podcast. Here's a recording of a poetry scrum at the Cottage Salon on February 22nd, 2026. Rebecca Paradis read a Meridell LeSueur poem on this Meridell's 126th birthday. Then the four featured poets, Michael Moos, Donna Isaac, Maureen Skelly, and me, Timothy Young. Rebecca reminded me that today is Meridell LeSueur's birthday.
Oh, that's right. 126 years.
Yeah.
I'm so proud that I was thinking I did too. It really is a fun memory. Mendota Height. Yes.
I owe my public poetic life to Meridell because I was in the early 80s. I was doing one of the open mics at the Great Northwestern Book Show, or one of those big Midwestern book shows. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know hardly anybody in the poetry world at that time. And Meridell went to, eventually my friend Jim Docknick, who had Shadow Presence, you have to publish that poem, which became Men Don't Dance in America, which set me on the path towards Robert Bly. And so here I have the godmother and godfather of the Minnesota literary world giving me the push that I needed, that I didn't know that was available. So I'm so grateful to Meridell. Rebecca has a short Meridell. Is it one of
Meridell's
Meridell's
It's a Meridell poem that I'd like to share.
Absolutely.
And Tim said I could. No, I really thought it. And to honor her, born 126 years ago. No enemy faces. None of it was true about our enemies. We have none. Women never birth enemy faces, and enemy faces never born. No walls, barriers, closed wombs. The barren and the breastless summer sings to the face of lovers. Birth is with others and given. Thank you.
Read that again. Read it again.
Okay, but I might cry now.
Well, that's even better.
Okay. I do it all the time.
No enemy faces. It's from the Rites of Ancient Ripening book. None of it was true about our enemies. We have none. Women never birth enemy faces. An enemy face is never born. No walls, barriers, closed wombs. The barren and the breastless summer sings to the face of lovers. Birth is with others and given.
Beautiful. Wow. Thank you. I'm going to use that as the prompt for the scrum. This is one of the poems that I didn't read, and I'm going to pick up on the word for the lovers. This is Night Singers. Many of us, Jonathan back there, and a number of us used to go every week and then every month to Robert Bly's garage, and we'd sing chants. And we wanted to have a men's group without complaining about our wives or doing any of that kind of stuff. We just wanted to get together and experience what it's like in a deep place. So this is called Night Singers. We are God lovers, sitting beside the garden with a rude big heaviness in our bodies. We are cattle tongues, lapping at the corn in the spiritual trough. At night we sing. We are God lovers. Slaughter us now. Take us into your watering mouth. That's a Sufi style poem. Michael, you got something? I dumped it on you.
You did. Well, it was the word God.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, another bird poem I've
We're
tri-
getting ready here for spring.
I've tried to quit. There should be treatment programs for people like me with too many damn birds in our home.
There will be, just wait.
What else?
Birds are us.
Eventually it'll come.
This is called the Oriole's voice. Actually, I don't think I've ever read this out loud at a reading because Nancy, my wife, said, that poem is too damn long. Nobody's going to want to listen to that. It's only one page. I mean, give me a break. The Oriole's voice. You leave in the morning with your untamed mind carried heavily behind your hungry eyes, impatient for spring. What would you give to have another day here in peace? What wouldn't you? There is the emptiness your spirit loves, the blindness it needs to stay alive in the light, in the dark. You walk along the thawing lake, not listening for anything in particular, not for the voice of the loved one, just looking for tracks of fox. Pale stones fallen to the water's frozen edge. The cottonwoods where you see wintering crows, their voices lifting all day in some conversation about survival in the cold. Finding food, open water. What is thirst for, if not for talking to God?
You got
Sometimes, did I get away with it? Sometimes words carry you across the wild surface. Sometimes they fail you. White tundra swans come gliding into the steel gray water, with the old skin of ice stretching its fingers around the lake. Dry cattails rattle in the cold wind, moving into the dark arms of stripped trees, the way denial moves through you, leaving the still heart charged. Like the great wings lifting out of myth, their long serpent necks arched toward each other, and the rising moon from other winters, pulling at the edges of your thought. The moon's shadow begins to draw itself across the ice, thin as spirit, as if we are not the only ones making a gesture tenuous as silent prayer, frail as a wing or a voice, as if belief is what you have to live on. In the spring, the sound of the oriole's voice will come toward you here, suddenly arriving out of a faint mist of rain, true as mirage you have seen on a highway, disappearing just before you reach the crest of the hill. A beautiful bird calling from a bare branch in the rain.
I picked up on the birds for sure, and I don't know, this one sort of meshed.
Yeah.
Another COVID poem. End of November 2020. Near a trifurcated trunk at pond's edge, in a sliver of open water, a gulping mouth arose to consume something still alive. Sere oak leaves afloat. A good sign this, with over 100 deaths in a single day for our state, in a country silent except wind in pine. A walk by the Mississippi yesterday, a lone bald eagle circled the noiseless woods. Is this surrender? Inside, the work of pie, cutting, shortening into flour, crimping edges, dollops of cream. Outside, what is meant to be. Prayer can happen without thought. hammer of heart, wistful looking, grace, hunger exalted.
From thirst to hunger?
Something clicked
Yeah,
there.
that's right. Yeah.
A limited vocabulary after the stroke. She speaks few words, but the sounds she makes go back to the primordial in us. Deep sounds allied with whole body motions, not just throat. A therapist shows her how to move her tongue, muscles, to make sounds, vowels, letters, words. She takes us back to the place in ourselves before words, to our beginnings as children, where communicating with gesture and wordless intonations of voice was the world, and we will gladly go back to that place to be with Trish again. 2. Trish, meet us in the dream time, right side of brain. Come to us in dreams and we'll talk there. Believe you can do this. What you have developed in your life can never truly be lost. We'll always be with you. Let us relearn together what is essential and what we can let go of. Reaching brain cells from left to right, reaching hands from left to right, reaching spirit from left to right to remain in each other's hearts.
Well, this is picking up on all of these things. Birds, the Mississippi, and terminal illness. The moment is near. Today, Ruth, who's dying of cancer, moved into Mary's house, her hospice for the end. Turkeys have come off the hilltop to parade on the lawn. It's spring, and 4 toms with long, full beards fan their tails for the females. The snowfield runoff plunges beneath Mary's driveway bridge, and in minutes that water will spill into the big river. Along the backwater, more than 50 eagles perch, prepared for a long flight north. As soon as the last black ice dissolves on the lake, they'll fly to their high stick nests in the mysterious white pine groves we've only heard of, and that moment is near. Is this that new manuscript you're talking about, Michael?
It's, this is called Questions for the Mountain Bluebird.
Ah.
That poem reminds me of this one, The Necessity of Beauty. A great herd of elk lie on the hillside. I think there was a hill in that damn poem of yours.
There was. That's right.
Was there? Was there a hill in that poem?
That's all it is. Yeah.
I can't remember names of people very well anymore, but hills. I'm sorry. The necessity of beauty. A great herd of elk lies on the hillside where you first saw them in winter, in grass raked with late-day sunlight and then the lengthening shadows. Here, where you feel the wind passing through you until you become almost nothing in the sunlight, in the slow silence flowing between low hills, oh, there it is again, and the precisely composed trace your mind leaves in the red Triassic dirt. Lately, I had forgotten about forgiveness. As the long dry days of summer linger like apparition, bearing white flowers, as time passes over the hushed valley where a fallen tree moves in the wind, sighing as if sleep were an old friend returning. Now, the tall grass turns dull, waiting. I walk early this morning along a road I love. The deer are gone, their dark shining eyes not looking up from the meadow, where I search for some kinship beyond species or language. Maybe the storm held them up in the pines, taking refuge among the shadows. In the warm beds of matted grass they shape with their russet bodies in summer. Maybe they would not wish to speak of it, of learning to live with loss, as the road moves simply over the mute hills, and deep plaintive sorrow bleeds into the days passing, like the swans, unable to pause in their migration.
This is about being in the hills, the mountains. But Tennessee, we do a twist. The Tiptons. They were our neighbors in Tennessee, down the street. A passel of boys and one girl named Anita, half Cherokee, all cheekbones and long limbs. Anita owned a bucking horse, Fury, who reared up on my brother and ran me into a barbed wire, the scar still on my calf. Their daddy made sip and shine and gave it to the menfolk in mason jars. All us kids had picnics in summer, spitting watermelon seeds in the grass. My sister saw Billy T. naked, peeling off his bathing suit near the back creek, sacred site. The four boys were wild, our heart's desire. They bow hunted in the mountains, strung up deer bled out beneath a tree. They ate squirrel stew and grayish gravy. Once Anita and I rode horses on Roan Mountain, purple rose bay all around. Fury and Anita took the lead, her rope slinging side to side as we trotted down a dappled path, red-tailed hawk rising like a song.
What's the recipe?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. The recipe after that one.
That was good.
You can tell when a poet loves their own poem because you have that look on your face.
Yes.
I think I love the Tipton memories.
Rock Harbor Morning, Isle Royal. Landed in a crook of a fishing hook of land, snug harbor. Originally summer resort of the 30s and 40s, long gingham tables, coffee weavings, lodge of early risers, waitresses' white shoes padding short span of paved trail, bleary-eyed to the dawn on clear days, startling through the brown slatted fence, intensity of clean elements. Harbor stirrings, green-clad Park Service personnel bustle about checking arrivals, departures. Fishermen in yellow mackinaws pump out refuel, adjust rigging, wind and water proofing. Blue-jeaned, plaid-shirted, down-vested backpackers limp down to the boats. Backpacks, canoes, fishing gear, groceries, mail. Lodge guests rise, filter in for breakfast, shedding sighs, gulping the great fresh air. Wistful small town girl behind counter, first summer away from home, longs toward the harbor. Distance. Surrounded by strong gold wood, shellacked years ago. What is old settles slowly into the ground, and we are content with it. Lodge and store loom large and civilized from remote camp on islands interior, small and snug, under flickering dance of northern lights across the turning sky.
What I like so much about this is everybody has a distinct voice.
Yeah, it starts coming up when you
Coming out
read a
more.
few more things.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, is there such a thing as DEI in poetry? You know, it's like we don't need it. We don't need because it's just there. You know, so I'm picking up on this lodge. You said IOL.
Yeah.
So I was
Rock Harbor Lodge.
I was at a logging museum in northern Wisconsin, right off the south shore of Lake Superior.
Yeah.
And ragas at the logging museum. A moose head with gangliate antlers hangs over a tabla player and a flutist, while I listen to their heartbreaking ragas. Draw knives, cross-cut saws, and broad axes are nailed to the rafters in the upper walls and threaten to fall and split our skulls. A collection of firefighter helmets droop along the lower wall like blisters of sap on a cherry tree wound. But I don't care if an axe drops. Already, I smell something burning. My sweetened soul has burst into flames.
You're having a good time.
I like to, and I know the setting because you go spend time on the North Shore,
Yeah.
and every lodge you go into, you've got, you know, the moose heads and the different antlers. And it's nice to hear about ragas and music.
Yeah, hearing that sweetness, you know,
Yeah,
contrasting with the sharp edges and
yeah.
This poem has a tree in it that's very old.
it comes after the loggers.
Mr. Mark.
This tree defies
Yeah.
saws. It's a poem called, it's a new poem. I mean, I know all of you write poems, but if you can actually have new poems that you think are good and that you love, that is so fine. Because there's long times in between when they're just not there.
Yeah.
True.
Breaking the code of silence. You could live out your ordinary days with fierce eyes, using a long lens to search the shifting sands of many rivers, droughts, wildfires, the dark eye of a hurricane swallowing coastlines, the glowing eyes of a leopard seeking refuge up in a 1,000-year-old baobab tree, still rooted in dry earth below the endless evening sky. Out of our insignificance, we try to measure the light years to other galaxies, the invisible threads that connect us as our tracks still gather at the roots of an ancient tree. You might as well dial in awe, reverie, joy. That's a part of
Yeah.
your poems.
Joy.
An acceptance of a dusty road dividing the tall grasses from the blind wind. You might as well listen for the pulsing voice of a mourning dove as he breaks the code of silence. Would you want to know when and where your heart will fail? Would dying be easier if you could see we are never truly alone?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay. A little bit of a death theme there. So this is called I Want to Go Out. The epigraph, and when from death I'm free, I'll sing on. I want to go out on a guitar string, a snake moan, a downbeat, a shimmy rock, a baby groan. I want the day soft, foggy tree, taste of sun, sparkle grass, bumblebee. I want you as you were, love for me, wild bird morn, holding on, heart astir. I want to rise into that light in a morning gown, ether clouds, star of night.
Yeah.
Inspired by yours.
It's a good day.
Well,
It's a pretty well processed.
it is. Don't think I'm going to do the death one right now, but I got it. I have a nice series. Okay. This is one more Black Hills poem, being as Mike is here. Game Lodge Valley, Custer State Park. A dark night, few stars. Walking up to the lodge, I've forgotten my flashlight. Decide to practice night sight. Trust my feet to find the trail. A darker than night shape looms ahead. I know this valley some. There is no boulder here. I freeze. No fear, no fear. Slowly walk backwards until I get to the other side of the buffalo fence. I am in a camper cabin, valley of the Coolidge Creek. The family has gone. I am alone, except for the giant bull buffalo on the other side of the fence. He comes and sits right by my cabin. It is summer solstice, a warm night. I sit outside by the fire for hours, me and the buffalo. I feel comforted, gifted, more a part of this world with his presence. Plains tribes still use buffalo altars for sacred ceremony. Tatanka, the older brother. I reflect on the history of humans, animals, this world. Ceremonies created from gratitude. Worlds reversed. Worlds changed with gratitude.
Well,
Well, I'm going to do a U-turn. I'm going to pick up on this. You said the storyteller in there, or about the story.
Yeah.
So, and it's also bluffs and coulees.
Oh,
This is from when I lived down off the Mississippi, down by Lake Pepin. Caves, bluffs, and coulees. Mysterious caves dot our bluffs and coulees. During Prohibition, a moonshiner was murdered in one. And in '63, the Johnson boy crawled in and found his skeleton. Old Man Holly said, "When I was a boy, I found Indian pots in one of those 3 caves above the river. Look how they form eye sockets in a skull's toothy mouth. I never went back." Now my boy Jesse scaled a cave 300 feet above the river. When he reached for a handhold, a timber rattler shook its tail, warned him to leave. He did. Electricity began to cook in his blood. In our first year on the farm, I heard of the tourists who stumbled through a coulee and found a cave with shards and dusty pots. For months they returned every weekend, but couldn't find that cave. While driving up Pine Creek Road at 50 below zero, I saw a phantom of steam rising in the woods on the right. Or was it the left? Of a crotch between the bluffs. Was that their cave? Along his dry creek bed, Bob Bixby found a black stone axe head emerging from a cut bank. It looked like a nipple on a sandstone tit. Over pancakes and bacon in the waterfront cafe, he let me hold it. Believe me, I'm not like those other old men who tell stories just for the sake of stories. My goodness, One old liar told all his stories from Barstool in Ole's Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
Every winter, he lived in a pickup camper beside the river. He was a drunk and so lazy that at night he'd just pee out the door. By March, a stalagmite rose 4 feet from That's not my style.
He is like
Someday I'll tell you about smaller caves where the fox and the coyote den up. Their trails meander in all directions, and in the winter, you can read them like a poem, or see their pictures coming out of a storyteller's mouth.
Maiden Rock.
Big rock.
Nice.
now this is pissing me off. Well, it's pissing me off because I'm trying to decide between a cave poem and a below zero poem.
You can break the rules, Michael.
I know. I was telling.
Did I just hear that at these things you can break the rules, Tim?
He does that.
Can I have that on the record?
It's recorded.
Break the rules.
Well, the last time you read here, we broke rules all the time, Doug.
I don't know, I wasn't paying
Just
attention.
by
Yeah, you weren't paying attention. Yeah. You know, when Thomas and I started these scrums, we decided we didn't want this to be like a slam, which is a competition. Because I don't believe that poetry is about a competition. When I was in England back in 2008 with Thomas, we were on a radio show that was kind of a takeoff like Garrison Keillor's Prairie Home. And the whole thing was, okay, read a poem and whoever gets the loudest applause wins. And it's like, no, that's not how poetry works. Thomas won, by the way.
He has a tendency to do that.
Yeah.
I have a small triumph here. This poem not only has a cave in it, but it's titled Below Zero.
Okay.
So I get both in one. Below Zero, a late winter blessing. And I think I need to read this for Liam Ramos,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that 5-year-old boy with that
Yeah.
Bunny
wonderful
hat.
The bunny
blue floppy-eared.
Yeah.
Below Zero, a late winter blessing. Winter holds us with its wild arms in the blue shadows of cold, bare trees, while an early sun does its blind dance before it brushes the mouth of the river's cave. Long cracks like jagged lightning score the whirling nebula of the frozen river, whose hidden current is a gift to ancient fish as they wait for earth to tumble through the long darkness into a kinder season. As you might wait for something, as you might wait for numbing loss, to leave for another country, you might as well make tea, take a look out your kitchen window for the tracks of the hungry gray squirrels and rabbits as you wait until mercy can find its way. The steam puffing out of the chimneys of these old houses calls to you to put down the newspaper, pull on your worn winter jacket, and take a walk across the bridge. News of a child stolen by ice in this below zero weather, then rescued, kindles a time in your own life when you were lost. Did not know if your mother's eyes would ever find you again. did not know if you would ever see her again at the edge of the windbreak, her pale hand waving above her head in anguished greeting, a late winter blessing, a sign, maybe, that things in some way might want to turn toward the good.
Yeah.
This is not easy, is it?
No.
Actually, I picked up on the word fish, so among other things. It's called "To Clear-Eyed Daughter of the Stars to Give Us Hope." Every day I am reminded of the smallmouth bass and redbreast, sunfish fighting up Smith Creek, the flow from Massanutten Mountain, George Washington Forest. How do you run northeast and not rattle the brook trout or confuse the kingfisher with its riparian instinct? Soft-handed, bright maiden, mingling with the river of swans, onward, where you rest. Calm oysters in beds, blue crabs where they shed. Like the sooty albatross, you use the gale to gain strength, not to give in. Going against, then, should not be a battle. All around the things of earth, flower, fly, fend. The resurrection fern, though gray in dry days, turns green again in wet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, this is going to be a turtle poem that's kind of taking off on the fish ideas here.
Yeah.
This is called Grandmother Turtle on the Rainy Freeway. A great muscular strength arched a shell upward slowly, midst speeding oblivious cars churning sprays of water on the rainy freeway. I stretched my eyes to glimpse her. Then something hit my heart. I had to go back. I took the next exit, turned around, exited, turned around again, praying she was still alive. There, just before the 694 exit, a sturdy, steady claw reached forwards into the headlights of the oncoming semi. A giant snapper! She was 2 feet in diameter, ancient like a mountain range or a volcano suddenly rising in the middle of our lateral driving. I don't know if the turtle was terrified or disoriented, or if it had lived near freeways long enough to be used to roaring, rumbling, shaking. It moved steadily, seemingly courageous, into the lights rushing towards it. I threw a towel over her, picked her up mid-shell, and carried her off the road through long grass into a gully. She lunged then, twice, with her powerful jaws and head, a slow recoil and fast snap outwards at whatever held her. I put her down then, with a creek running in the distance, went home and wept. Creation myths of turtles carrying us, this world, on their backs. A month later, in the Octa Lakota Museum in Chamberlain, South Dakota, a sculpture of a tall, slim woman carrying a baby in her arms, standing on the back of a large, snapping turtle. Wow. This is a true story. And one of my takeaways is all of this going on is created by the human race. You know, I mean, I've thought that a lot. All the chaos or celebration, whatever. And then here are the critters, you know, the animals.
Right.
And when I grabbed that turtle off the freeway, I literally felt a sensation of something hitting me in the heart chakra, and that turtle was calling to me. You know, and I rarely ever have had that happen since, but at that moment it was like, what hit me in the heart? You know, and so anyway. Just a little footnote on that poem that it's based on a true story.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, I'm going to just follow right on. Although this poem is called Only a Loon, the first line. A snapping turtle can take our pain into dark places. In autumn, when he rises for his last breath, he can take a cracked heart into the cold mud and bind the wound through the winter. But a loon is crazy. He's like a street corner prophet. His God is an echo who sings back to his derelict's longing. The loon collects grief like panhandled dollars to carry south in the fall and drop into the warm Florida Gold Coast Sea.
Good
Yeah.
What book is that one
It's
from?
Herds of Bears. What's that?
Birds and bears.
Herds of Bears.
I
Yeah.
love that poem.
We'll do one more round and just whatever you want to read. Whatever you want to read, whatever you feel like reading.
This time?
This time, we're just,
Okay.
Yeah, ignore the bird throw. Just try.
Just try what?
Ignore the bird throw. That's a couple real gratuitous. I call foul.
I was tempted to read my turtle poem, but I'm going to read something.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it'd be nice.
Okay.
Sometime maybe I'll do a turtle poem.
Yeah.
We covered turtles. Turtles and loons.
You don't have to follow anything now.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
our last,
One more
our last
closing.
four.
Your closing poem.
Yeah, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to read. It's the exclamation point in the afternoon.
Okay, well, all right.
That sounds exciting.
Well, they argue with each other.
Okay.
Almost, they talk to each other. They have these little.
And you're stuck in between, right?
You're in the middle.
Somewhere, I think one of us used the word grateful. Possibly, I think it was Maureen that said something about grateful. It's tempting to not respond to more than just a person that was coming before you.
Yeah.
But then also, Maureen, you had a hell of a lot of buffalo. There's a wonderful place in the Black Hills when you're coming down out of the hills to the edge of Wind Cave National Park.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this place called Buffalo Gap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where the Lakota people would come in during the winter time to seek refuge in the hills because it was bitter cold out there in the windy plains, and they would come in and camp in the Black Hills.
I know that place is.
You know
I
that
wanted to
spot.
paint it. It's
That's
outside of Hot
in
Springs.
here.
Yeah.
This poem is called Amends. You are asked to be grateful while we are filleted by tragedy. 3 elk lie on the steep hillside, gazing peacefully toward Buffalo Gap. Below them, a car raises a dust cloud on Red Valley Road, pulls over to snap a picture toward the Badlands, a moment petrified by stopping time. You might be wandering in the abandoned quarries of dispassion, facing a truth you do not want to accept, as though this is still a dream of the 19th century returning. Still, perhaps you are wrong to give up on the need to question, as passing time sands the hidden currents of your pain. The car moves on to other places, other lives needing to be led, if only there is enough daylight left. The elk are still here, just 3 of them, the others gone from this place, taken by chronic wasting disease or shot from helicopters to save those not stricken by the virus. We carry our sorrow like a tight bundle of firewood up the hill. We do not have to speak of them. Just take their absence into our silence. Is it necessary to be lost? Or are you already in the forest you are walking toward? Or maple trees just decide one day, it is time, and the clear sap begins to run again. To watch the silent dance of Aurora Borealis in the night might be a way of making amends for the time we've wasted. How your heart knows it could be married to fullness.
This is called Field. After the horse died, I could not dream anymore. Darkness only to leap into. By day, I'd feed the white pony carrots, standing near the barbed wire fence. He'd shake his mane, fetlocks alive with flies. It wasn't the same as having Fury, who flew like Pegasus across the bitten grass, who ate at the gate of my fantasies. Dreams come when they come. We waggle the imaginary apple. We ride out over tangled fields again.
Wow.
Short and sweet.
So good.
Last fall, my closest cousin died, and he had a horse named Fury. And one of the favorite memories of him, when we were teenagers, we rode bareback, and he took Fury up the side of a hill at sunset. The horse was bareback, he was bare from the shirt off, and we'd been haying all day. And it's this silhouette of my cousin in the sunset. That's how I'm going to remember him as he went off into someplace else.
That's great. The poet, who has never been to Ireland, walks upon the shores of Lake Superior in northern Minnesota, wondering if the Irish coast is like this. Since I wrote this, I've been to Ireland. Okay. Imagines walking in solidarity of footsteps with ancestors long ago become again soil. It is as if she can see a ruddy-faced, stubborn, age-grizzled, and wind-swept father with a spade digging in an umber and gold field. A call, puzzling yet familiar, in the blood, genes, or heart, chimes with remembrance, in melodies and images of centuries' enduring songs, in the heart of stories of the people's struggles, in the rushing lyrical cadence of poetry, in the whirling weaving mists of mythologies, the great longing for Ireland is born again. To walk upon the land, to meet and talk with the people, drink in vista to horizon, sky, and stars, to find what sustenance from generations past speaks forth from the soil of that land. And if the poet does not have the chance to physically travel to Ireland and track its difference from imaginings, how shall Ireland be carried? Here she sits in an oak and hawthorn forest, giving gratitude for Ireland and poetry. The poet thinks she has just seen a fairy. But wait, could it be a mayfly in October?
Yeah.
Thank you. Schlanta. Is it Schlanta?
Yeah.
Schlanta.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Really didn't need a beer.
My mother was 100% Irish. My dad was this mixture and wished he was Irish. He'd sing all the time. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I want to finish with this one. I just love these. You know, it just
Yeah.
the poetry just keeps coming and coming and coming, and it's so much. It's such a blessing to hear it from so many different voices. It's like going into the forest and seeing all these wildflowers, and each one's beautiful in its own way.
Yeah.
That's what good poetry is like. Well, the title is the last line, so I'm not going to read the title. How much beauty is in the red sky, or in the clouds and light that reflect off a lake on a quiet evening. Light, land, and love hold a Valentine's red, a quiet red, an empty barn red. How much passion stirs in the red ochre of a mountain, in an ogre's greed, in a strip club's light, in a no vacancy sign, or in a singer's torch song before it becomes the blues. After I climbed a polychrome hill near the Badlands, red clay stuck to my boots, bison grazed on the last green grass beneath the cottonwood's yellow leaves. In Idaho, red hills endlessly gave birth to hot springs, where my wife sketched green junipers from a red chair. In Washington, I drank the red ale my son brewed. I'll hang red stockings on the mantle, adorn the Christmas tree with red paper chains, and give thanks for the red life I live. Beauty is a promise. Red clouds at night, a poet's delight. Thank you all. Michael Moos, Donna Maureen Skelly, and I'm Tim Young. Thank you all. There's still wine and